Alright, as we're getting started on adding and subtracting decimals, already on the Tube of You, my channel, are 2 videos on adding and subtracting decimals with each of the other 2 classes. But before we do, you've been adding probably since you were 4.5 days old. You know how to add and subtract.
Yes, sir.
But let's look. Wow, that marker stinks.
You almost made it.
You almost made it trash.
If I had 17 and I'm adding 3 to that, can I put my 3 in the tens place? No. The 3 has to go in which place?
The ones place.
Ones place. The 3 has to go in the ones place. It is the exact same thing when you're adding with decimals. The ones place has to go in the ones over the ones place. Tens over tens. Hundredths over hundredths. And the first problem you have is set up for you already. 8 7/10 plus 5 4/10. But before we do our addition, miracle. If I added, because this is a little more than 8, and this is a little more than 5. So if I added 8 plus 5, miracle, what would I get? Say again?
14.
Good, 13. Why does Miracle have a boy's voice all of a sudden? Do I need to call you Miracle the rest of the year?
No.
All right. So my answer needs to be somewhere around 13. So if you did the math and you didn't get an answer somewhere around 13, that's why we estimate first, then we've probably made a mistake somewhere. We have our tenths place over our tenths place. Our ones place over our ones place. Easiest thing to do is line up your decimal points. When you're adding and subtracting, as your notes say, your decimal point comes straight down. Miracle. We're going to start on the smallest place value. I'm talking to the real Miracle, not to the fake Miracle. Miracle, what is 7 plus 4? 11. So I have 11 tenths. If you remember, Krista, if you remember in your journal, you had the place value squared. It looked like this. If you remember in your journal, you had this. And also, if you remember, each one of these rows is a tenth. How many tenths are in one whole?
2.
Why would you just repeat him? There's 10 in one whole. Look. 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, 10 tenths. 10 tenths make up this one whole. We have 11 tenths because we said it was 11. So I have this whole thing plus one more row. That's why I have that. Okay? So I have 1 tenth left over and I have one whole because this is my ones place. Now I have to add 1 plus 8 plus 5, which is what, Miracle? 1 plus 8 plus 5. Put your hands down. You're all not Miracle. 15. Now, Miracle, what did you say our estimate was going to be? You said 13, right? So are we somewhere close to 13?
Yes.
Yeah. We're in the ballpark. That helps us to make sure we put our decimal point in the right place. That helps us to make sure we put the decimal point in the right place. You've all been adding for a very long time, so I don't think the math is going to be what gets you. It's going to be silly mistakes. So here we have 74 and 906 thousandths plus 100th plus 42. Okay, so what is in the ones place in this number J? What number's in the ones place?
7.
No, 7's in the tens.
Oh, wait, no, the 4.
The 4 is in the ones place. Okay? Is there anything in the ones place here, Jay?
No.
What about here?
No. Yes.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah. If you don't see the number, or if you don't see the decimal point in a number, it's right there. Because if, let's say I had $7, I could write $7 like that, or I could write $7 like that. And that just shows the decimal points right after that, and it doesn't change the value. So Cadence comes up to me, she hands me this note, and the note says, Mr. McMurdo, I'm going to punch you in the face unless you give me $7. And it's written like that, I know she wants $7. But if she writes me the same note, and she has it written like that with the decimal point behind the 7, I know she wants $7. And I don't want Cadence to punch me in the face. But both of these are the same. So if it is a whole number and you do not see a decimal point, it is automatically located at the back. Let's estimate here. Cadence, help me out here. No, actually it was Jay's turn, wasn't it? Jay, I'm going to say that this is about 70, right? This is way less than 1, so I'm going to ignore that. And this is 40, about 40. So what would 70 plus 40 be?
100. No, 110.
110. So I want my answer for number 2 to be around 110. If you're looking at your paper right now and your answer is not anywhere near 110, you've probably made a mistake somewhere in lining up your decimal points. So let's write this down. We have 74 and 906 thousandths plus 100th and plus 42. My ones place are lined up. My tenths place, my hundredths place, and my thousandths place are all lined up. A lot of times you're going to see this and it's going to be easier to do it with graph paper. So when you get to this point, sometimes it's easier to do with graph paper. You don't have it on you right now because Cadence stole it all. She gave you a note and said, I'm going to punch you in the face unless you give me all your graph paper, because that's how she is. Your notes say this. Your notes tell you, Brooks, are you with me? Your notes tell you to put placeholders in here. 100th is the same as 10 thousandths. 42 is the same as 42 and 0 thousandths. Those are exactly the same value. Yes, sir. Oh, you had your... And then I thought, because you had your hand, that it was a question. Because generally in school, we'll say, if you have a question, raise your hand. And you had your hand up, which made me think you had a question. But evidently you didn't have a question, even though you gave the general signal for question. Jay. Yes, Jay can go potty. Jay's going potty. He's in my homeroom now, but he was in somebody else's homeroom.
Okay. Where is he?
No, wait a minute. Over there, Mr. W. All right, so so now it's just adding. We start with our smallest place value. Oh, Jay left because he had to go potty. Rainy, what is my smallest place value?
Your smallest is it's your thousandths.
Thousandths. And Rainy, I have 6 plus 0 plus 0. 6. I have 0 plus 1 plus 0. 1. I have 9 plus 0 plus 0. 9. Decimal point comes straight down. I have 4 plus 2. 6. I have 7 plus 4. 11. So that puts me near my 110, or 110 as my estimate. that keeps us from, remember yesterday, the guy came back with the sandwiches, and he's like, that'll be $219.09.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, no way. And he was like, that's what it says. And they were like, that's way too much for 3 sandwiches. And he was like, no, it's not. And they were like, yes, it is. And he was like, no, it's not. And she was like, yes, it is. And then they showed him the decimal point was in the wrong place. And it was actually $12, not $100. Okay. So that's why we do our estimate first. That was number 2. And Jay, you snuck out while we were doing your problem, so now you're going to help me with 3. 8,416 plus. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
He stuck an eraser in his ear, so he left early. And she didn't write his last down. How many last did you-
He ran over 30.
He ran
Over 36.
Over 36.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 8,416 plus 28 hundredths plus 1 and 489 thousandths. Now, looking at this, did you do this problem?
Yes.
Give me an estimate. Give me your estimate.
Don't tell me the next.
Wait, not the real answer.
No, the estimate. Okay, let's estimate. 8,416. Is this greater than or less than 1? Less. You are not everybody. Your name is not the same as everybody else's name. Your name is Riley, not Jay, not Miracle, not Bob, not Susan. Okay, so we have 8,416. We're adding less than 1, so we're not going to worry about this. What about this one? Jay. 1 and 489 thousandths is close to...
It's close to.
Would you stop?
Close to what? 1.
You gotta stop. Sure. Well, he was holding up the answer. Yeah, seriously.
So, if we have 8,416 and we're adding about 1, my answer should be somewhere around what, Jay? Would you stop repeating everything he says? He's saying wrong answers on purpose.
I didn't say anything.
8,416 and you're adding about 1 to it. What would that equal? 8,417. We're adding about 1 to this. Probably about 2 to this. So it should be somewhere 8,417, 8,418, somewhere in that range. 8,416. 28 hundredths. 1 and 489 thousandths. We're adding these together. We've lined up our place values. 1s over 1s, 10ths over 10ths. Go. Hundredths over hundredths, thousandths over thousandths. We're going to fill in some place value holders that don't change the value, change the way it's written. Please make sure we're watching because we will have a test that includes this next week.
Yay! Yay, test!
Which is easy if you pay attention.
Yeah!
All right.
Test.
We're doing this one with me.
Me.
Oh, Jay. Jay, our thousandths place. 0 plus 0 plus 9 is? 9. That's in our thousandths place. Jay, our hundredths place. 0 plus 8 plus 8. 16. I have 16 hundredths, which means I have 1 whole and 6 hundredths, or hundredths, tenths. I have, anyway, I got to carry 1/10 over here. 1 plus 2 plus 4. 7. Decimal point straight down. 6 plus 1. 7. 1, 4, 8. So your estimate was 8,417. We're right by that estimate. 8,417 and 769 thousandths. So we're right about where your estimate was. Good job, Jay. Good job not answering for Jay.
I got that exact answer.
All right, let's look at the next one. Oh, the next one they even wrote. Why are you guys over here talking?
Can I go?
34 or 38, sorry.
Don't want to hear it.
Okay, 38 and 64 hundredths plus 8 and 87 hundredths. Sophia, let me ask you a question. This is about 40. So what would 40 plus 8 be? Sophia, I called on. Sophia, 40 plus 8. 48. Great job, Sophia. So we want our answer to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 48. It's not going to be exactly 48 because this is a little more than 38 and this is a little more than 8. So we're going to be somewhere in the ballpark of 48. If your answer is nowhere near 48, then you've done something wrong. I'm just saying. All right, Sophia. We're going to start all the way over here in our hundredths place. So take a deep breath. You're not taking a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Put your hands down. What's it important for?
Question for you real quick.
Yeah.
Dylan come here and talk to them?
Yep.
Yes?
Yes, yes.
Just want to make sure. All right.
Yes, yes, yes.
The question is supposed to be subtracting.
Oh, it's subtracting.
It's nowhere near 40.
Then it would be nowhere near 48.
Yeah.
All right, so let's re-estimate. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's re-estimate. What would be 38 minus 8, Sophia? 30. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. 30. Sophia, if I have 4 pennies in my pocket, because this is the hundredths place, 4 pennies in my pocket, could you come over here, punch me in the face, and take out those 4 pennies, or take out 7 of them?
No.
You're not Sophia either. Could you take out 7 pennies out of my pocket if I only have 4? No. But I have some dimes. So I'm going to change one of my dimes into 10 pennies. So now I have 14 pennies. And after you punch me in the face, I have 14 pennies, and you're going to take 7 of them. So how many pennies do I have left? 14 minus 7. Sophia. 7. Awesome sauce. Now, Sophia, I have 5 dimes in my pocket. Could you come up here, Sophia? No, this isn't an invitation. This is a hypothetical. Could you come up here, punch me in my face, reach in my pocket and take away 8 dimes? No, because I only have 5 dimes. But I have $8 bills. So I can change one of those dollar bills into 10 dimes. So now I have 15 dimes. You come up here, you punch me in the face, and you take 8 of my 15 dimes. How many dimes do I have left? Shh. This is Sophia's problem. Y'all be quiet. Good. 15 minus 8 is 7. Decimal point straight down. Now, Sophia, one more example. I have 7 $1 bills in my pocket. You come up and you punch me in the face, and I'm unconscious. Could you reach in my pocket and take 8? No. No. So now I have to take one of my $10 bills, because I have 3 $10 bills in my pocket. And I have to change that one $10 bill. So now I only have 2, and I'm changing it into 10 $1 bills. So that gives me now $17. And 17 minus 8 is 9, right? Good. And I still have those 2 $10 bills. So my answer, Sophia's estimate, was around 30. And our actual answer is 29 and 77 hundredths. Boom, shakalaka. Sophia's brilliant. Brilliant. All right, let's look at number 5. It is 462 subtract 31 and 2/10. Let's start with JJ.
Thank you.
JJ, I need an estimate first.
Okay.
So, if this was 460 and this was 30, what would 460 minus 30 be?
140. 430.
Good, 430. I want my answer to be somewhere around 430. If my answer is around 4, then I've got my decimal point somewhere in the wrong place. So, JJ, what place value is this 2 in?
It's in the ones.
It's in the ones place. Which number here is in the ones place?
1.
The 1. They have to be directly over each other. Yes, Lawrence?
Can I go to the restroom?
Yes, you can. Because if we're subtracting or adding, we have to have the place values over each other. So JJ told me the 2 was in the ones place and the 1 was in the ones place. So we've lined up our ones places. We've lined up our tens. We've lined up our hundredths. And I got my decimal point there, and it's subtraction. Now let's go back to the punching in the face. Okay? Because Sophia told me earlier today that she wanted to punch me in the face. So we're just going to use that hypothetical over and over again. Okay, JJ. If I had 0, because this is like dimes, right? If I had 0 dimes in my pocket, could Sophia come up and punch me in the face and take 2 of them?
No.
No. Okay, so I can't just bring down this 2. You can't. And I mean you can't just bring down this 2. We have to put a 0 there. We have to put a placeholder. Because what I see so many times is people just... Are you grading your paper? Why is it put away? Brooks, you know your mom watches these. And then you put it away so you can't follow along. Brooks. Brooks, please watch and follow. Brooks. Yes, I'm talking to Brooks. Follow along. All right, so now, JJ. I still have 0 dimes. But I can take this $1 here. I'm taking one of my $2. And I'm giving myself 10 dimes. Okay, how many of you just brought this 2 straight down? Raise your hand. Don't be embarrassed. It's not on camera. Oh, y'all are telling stories. Y'all are telling stories. All right, so JJ, what's 10 subtract 2? 8. My decimal point straight down. JJ, what's 1 subtract 1? 0. JJ, what's 6 subtract 3? JJ, what's 4 subtract nothing?
4.
JJ, are we near your estimate?
Yes.
His estimate was 430. We're near 430. But I promise you, if I went around and looked at your papers right now, some of you just brought the 2 straight down. Some of you did. You don't have to admit it. You don't have to admit it. I know. I know. That's why you have to put the 0 there. Well, are you following along? Yes, that was 5. 6. We have...
16.
Let me call on Mia. How do you say this number?
Here. Okay. 16 and 1.
What place value is the 1 in?
1,000.
Thousandths. 16 and 1,000ths. So subtract 12. And Brooks, how do you say this problem? Or how do you say this number?
12 and 184,000.
Brilliant. Brilliant. All right. So Mia, this is really close to 16, right? And what is this close to? Close to 12, close to 13, somewhere in that ballpark. So if we had 16 subtract 13, what would you get, Mia? Put your hand down.
3.
3, thank you. So my answer needs to be somewhere around 3. And we have to line up our place values. The coolest thing is they have the same number of digits behind the decimal point. bad thing is I'm going to have to go over here and borrow all the way from the ones. So if I take one of my ones, one of my squares, and so now I have 15, and I break it up into tenths, how many tenths are in one square? Say 10. 10. So now I have 10 of these. But wait! I still need these. So out of those 10 columns, how many little boxes are in the 10 columns? Altogether. 10 is in each column. How many are in 10 columns? 100. So I'm taking one of these tenths, because I have 100 of them, or I have 100 of these. So I'm making this. One of the tenths, now I have 9. Now I have 10 of the hundredths. Yes, sir. Yes, you may go potty. Matthew is going potty. Wash your hands, Matthew. Now I got to take one of my hundredths away, and I got to add 10 to my thousandths. Because I took away one of the hundredths, and each hundredth has 10 thousandths. Or has, yeah, each hundredth has 10 thousandths. Mia, 11 subtract 4. 11 subtract 4. 7. Mia, 9 subtract 8. 1. Mia, 9 subtract 0, 9. 0. Decimal point comes straight down. Mia, 5 subtract 2. 3. And Mia, 1 subtract 1. Is our answer close to your estimate?
Yes.
It is. Your estimate was 13, right? So our answer is close to it.
No.
So our answer is close to it. You know what I think I'm going to do now? I'm going to skip and go to number 8. Because I like number 8.
I don't have number 8.
Good, you're writing it down now, right?
Number 8 is amazing. Number 8 is amazing. I'm on number 7. Look up.
Okay. Here we go. Are we ready?
Yes.
Maddie, are you with me? Okay. Which number's in my ones place in this? 0. What about here? What about here? Good. So if I have 20 and I'm subtracting 14, that's going to give me how much? About 6. Because this is way smaller than 1. So my answer is going to be somewhere near 6. You see how helpful this is?
No.
Because if this was one of those, this whole estimating things, kids hate it. They do. They hate it. But it's really kind of helpful because if it were multiple choice, probably one of your answer choices would have the decimals all crazy, and you could probably eliminate, once you estimate, you could probably eliminate 1 or 2 of your answers and make your life much simpler. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, Maddie.
You're just saying.
You said that 0's in the ones place. That means the decimal point's right after it. Now, can I label these all straight? I got to do them 2 at a time, right? So I'm going to do 20, subtract 14 and 8 tenths. Or 20 and 0 tenths, subtract 14 and 8 tenths. I'm going to take the 20 becomes a, say 19. 19. Because I just traded $20. I took away $1 and I'm changing that to dimes. 10 subtract 8 is 2. 19 subtract 14 is
5.
Do you have any idea what your name is? I will make you get on the phone, call your house, and say, why haven't you ever told me what my name is? Gosh. So I have 5 and 2 tenths. But now Maddie tells me I have to subtract. Show me this 0's in the ones place. Maddie tells me I have to have what in these 2 places? Zeros. Have to have zeros here, Maddie. The real Maddie. Now, I don't have any thousands to take 8 thousandths from. I don't have any pennies to take 1 penny from. So I'm going to take my dimes. And now I have 1 dime. I'm going to change that into 10 pennies. But I really only need 9 of those pennies because I need 10 of these smaller than pennies. Maddie, go. Maddie, what's 10 subtract 8? 2. Maddie, what's 9 subtract 1? 8. Maddie, what's 1 subtract 0? Decimal point straight down. Maddie, what's 5 subtract 0? 5. Maddie is our answer near our estimate. Boom! Shakalaka! The real Maddie knows what she's doing. The real Maddie knows what she's doing. We have videos on the Tube of You on rounding. We have videos on the Tube of You on comparing decimals, putting them in order. We have videos on the Tube of You of adding and subtracting decimals. And we have a bunch of other videos on the Tube of You. So if you're struggling, if you say, I'm having a little problem with this stuff, you're going to have to take some time, watch the videos.
Yeah, watch his awesome videos.
Some of you struggled and didn't get quite the grade you wanted on these red cards. But when you turned them in, you just turned in a GRLM and you didn't show any work on them. They're all comparing decimals. I should have seen them lining up the decimal points like this. Like this problem here. No, that one's got a lot of words on it. Alright, so if we look at this problem here. Which of the following is true? Answer choice F says 0 and 633 thousandths is less than 0 and 63 hundredths. That's what answer choice F says. Many of you picked F, by the way. But you didn't line up the decimal points. Because if you'd have lined up the decimal points like this, you'd have put a 0 at the back, and you would have seen that this one is actually bigger. Because we line up the decimal points. Most of you on these red cards did not line up the decimal points. That makes me sad to have to put bad grades in the grade book. Please, for the love of Pete, show your work and do how you're told. I told you the first day you're in here, you know 90% what you need to know to get an A in my class, to be successful in 5th grade math. You came in the door the first day with 90% of it. What you need to do is first learn the 10% that you don't know from me. Second, don't be lazy. Third, don't make silly mistakes. So that's the bottom line. Because Mr. McMurdo said so. Boom! Shakalaka! Peace out! Love y'all! God bless!